Hi friends, CJ is back. That's me. I recently made a video about the CompTIA A+ exam and some general thoughts and advice that I had for test takers and those preparing to take the exam. This time around, I want to give you some thoughts and advice about the Network Plus exam, which is an excellent certificate to have if you're just getting started up in the field of, say, tech support, computer repair, and all sorts of other lovely positions in the field of, say, computer repair, setting up networks. Fantastic certificate to have, one of the most popular ones. Yes, it's an entry-level certificate, so if you're really serious about it, it's probably not going to be the last one you get. Maybe you end up taking more advanced CompTIA certificates, or maybe you go into Cisco or Microsoft exams, more so Cisco than Microsoft in this particular industry, talking about networking, but routing and switching and so on and so forth. You know the drill. Moving on to my particular thoughts and advice about taking and excelling at the Network Plus exam, I'm going to start off with the advice everyone gives because it's so important. Make sure you go to CompTIA's website and look at the objectives for your specific exam. In this case, the current Network Plus exam, and it might change by the time you consult this video, the current one is the N10006 exam. That's the one I recently took. Go down that objectives list, one by one, or skip around if you must, but make sure that you feel good about every objective on that list. You don't have to be a mastermind, but learn as much as you can. And let me tell you why. Just knowing definitions is not going to get you through the Network Plus exam. You will not pass it if that's all you know. Not saying that to be pessimistic, saying that to inform you, and saying that so that you don't have to end up paying for the exam twice. By the way, if you're a student or a teacher and you have a .edu email address, go to the academic CompTIA website. It saved me, I don't know, probably somewhere around 50% by going through that website. I wish I knew about it when I registered for the A+ exams because it would have saved me money then too. But if you have a .edu email address, go to the academic CompTIA website when you register for your exam and save yourself a lot of money. So anyway, as I was getting at, just knowing definitions alone won't get you through the exam. You need to know why you would use certain technologies, the pros of them, the cons of them, certain requirements or certain measurements of things. Perhaps you're reading about a certain cable or antenna, but you really need to know troubleshooting, how to set things up. Look into that kind of stuff, because although I can't be specific, because if I am, then that would be violating the candidate agreement, so I can't be too specific about what's on the test. Sorry. We don't blame you. Well, thank you. Thank you for that comment. You want to know how to particularly handle things, because the questions they ask, most of them, and again, I can only say so much, but generally speaking, aren't just going to be, okay, what does this mean? They're going to give you a list of parameters, a list of, maybe they'll mention a fictional somebody and what they need to have done, and you need to figure out what exactly they should do, how, and why. You need to be able to deduce that. Now, learning definitions will help you, but knowing exactly what those technologies are all about will get you to that next step. Okay, with that in mind, you can never have enough resources. I love Professor Messer. That website is approved by CompTIA themselves. So there are other CompTIA approved books, and I know that a lot of people have endorsed Mike Myers' books. No, not the actor, comedian, or the fictional killer. Some people have endorsed Exam Cram. Maybe get both. I don't know. I mean, I know, money doesn't grow on trees unless you're some sort of really cool scientist who's made an amazing tree where money actually grows from it, in which case you're either going to help a lot of people or destroy the economy, and That would have a reverse effect. But anyway, you can never have enough resources. There are a lot of free and cheap resources. You're right here on YouTube if you're watching this video, so you know that there are resources here that could help you, tutorials and things like that. Just make sure that whatever resource you're consulting is approved by CompTIA and is not disapproved by CompTIA. Because if you use a disapproved resource, you can get your certificate revoked, and that would be bad. So make sure you don't do that. Now, a couple other general things I'd like to say. Depending on your personality, you might want to save performance-based questions for later, or you might want to do them first. But here's what I'll tell you. For me, it didn't make that much difference, I think. I think because I don't really have a way of knowing. But what I can tell you is the multiple choice questions are so in-depth now. I mean, you really want to know why someone would do something, what steps someone would take. You want to know everything that's on the test, all of the objectives in depth. So what I'm saying is that, yeah, those multiple choice questions are so in-depth that they're almost like miniature performance-based questions in that regard, because they all require you to be able to think through things, to troubleshoot. To be able to dismiss certain ideas and go, well, that doesn't make sense. See the one that goes, that kind of makes sense, but pick out the best answer. You need to be able to do that in order to do really well in the exam. So, of course, your time's limited when you take this exam. So you're going to want to keep that in mind and save a lot of time for the performance-based questions. So maybe it's a better idea to knock them out first so that you know how many minutes you have left when you look at your screen to take the remaining questions. Maybe that's the way you prefer to handle it. I'll leave that one up to you if and when you take the exam. Now, there's one other thing I want to add. If there's an issue at your testing center, approach your proctor. Approach the person monitoring your exam and let them know. Because if you don't, you go through that test, and let's say you failed because, not because it's your fault, but because the computer malfunctioned, but you didn't say anything, Pearson VUE, the people who you register with to take the exam, they're going to count it as a fail in all likelihood. I don't know that for sure because I don't work with Pearson VUE, but that's the way I understand the rules. So, if there's an issue, if the computer's not working, if your answers aren't being saved, and a lot of people say that especially when they've taken performance-based questions, they've had issues with their results not being saved and what they've been entering, the data they've been entering not being saved. Make sure you have that taken care of. And if there's a problem, talk to the people at the testing center, and push comes to shove, maybe you get a replacement voucher and take the exam another day if there's a legitimate issue. So, again, just make sure they know, because in my case, I've actually seen an issue that was there before, and I took a little while to report it. And in hindsight, it was a really strange circumstance that I probably shouldn't talk about. Not because it was anything too crazy, though I called it strange, so I guess I kind of did call it crazy in a way. But in all honesty, it was a purely the part that might have held me back at the time was purely a technical thing, and if I had approached the folks there a little more forcefully, maybe they could have helped me. I don't know, whatever. It's kind of he said, she said. Regardless, that's the story. So if you take the exam, I hope you do well. I hope you pass. It's a really cool certificate to have. Yes, it's an entry-level certificate. You know, it's not quite like those upper-level Cisco certificates necessarily, or an upper-level CompTIA certificate, but it's a good start. So that's what I wanted to say. Hope this video is useful to you. If you have any questions, obviously you can leave me a comment, and if I don't get to it first, hopefully someone else will do that for me. So thank you very much. Peace out. Have a wonderful day.